G'day everyone, welcome to another video from Sweeney's Creek Farm. As you can see, I'm down here with the beehives and we've got a bit of an issue with these hives at the moment. We have to move them for a number of reasons. This was never going to be their permanent final home, and we have now ended up with 13 hives, a lot quicker than what we thought. And where we started to put the hives is now pretty well full. And it's also causing an issue in that we have a lot of bees in the fruit orchard, and Julianne and myself have got a number of jobs we need to do down this end of the fruit orchard, and it's very hard with this many bees and the beehives just from a safety point of view. And the main reason is because Julianne is allergic to them. Proof of that was the other day when Julianne came out here to do some pruning on the fruit trees and basically had to put on a bee suit in really warm temperature. So it wasn't very comfortable, but it was the only option that she had to be able to protect herself. The other issue is from the bees' welfare. We put these hives in here in spring from August onwards, and the temperatures weren't so high at that point. We're now in the height of summer, and we're hitting high 30s, even up to 40, 100 degrees, 104, 105 degrees. Where they are now at the moment, you can see they're in shade, but it is at the end of the day and we're getting the shade from the trees behind. For the rest of the day, morning and midday and during the hot afternoon, these guys are sitting out with no protection from the sun. So we have a new spot lined up to move them on the other side of the property, underneath some trees, and it solves all of our problems. The bees are going to be away from where Julianne and I need to work, and they're going to have some protection from the summer heat coming in. The problem is we have to move these guys about 50 metres. And what can happen is if you move them that distance, when the bees come out to forage tomorrow, they'll still realise that they're in the same ecosystem, and they'll go out and forage and they will come back to the old location, which is here. So we have to take the hive at least 4 mile or 6.5 kilometres and set them up in a new spot so that tomorrow morning when we open them up, the bees will come out and they will reorientate to a totally new location, and they'll realise where their hive is. If we try to do that here, we're going to lose a lot of bees as they will come back to the old location and then perish. So because we can't move them 6 feet at a time, which is the recommended to get them up to the new location, we have to take them a long distance, leave them for 2 or 3 weeks, and then box them up again and bring them back to the new location. And that will allow them to each time reorientate to the new location of the hive. We've found a fantastic place to take them out. A friend of mine has got a property down the road, and so we're going to be putting them out there. Again, it's right near a big dam. They're underneath some trees. They'll have access to some different blossom down there. There's some really good native eucalypts and a lot of trees around, a lot of houses and flower beds. So they're going to certainly do fine down there. It's only going to be for about 3 weeks, which will then allow us to then box them up again and bring them back here. So our task tonight is now we need to make sure that all of the boxes are secure. I have some that have got feeding trays in them. I need to take those out and secure the lids so that they will transport on the trailer. We just need to make sure that each beehive is nice and secure, and then once it gets dark and all the foraging bees have returned, then we'll close up the doors and we'll load it up onto the trailer, and then we'll take it out there, put them into the location and open up the door ready for the bees to come out first thing tomorrow morning, and then they'll realise that they're in a totally new location and reorientate themselves. So because this process has to happen at night time when the vast majority of the bees have returned and they're all settled in their hive, we're not going to be able to film this actual move. It's going to be just too dark for it. But what I will do is I'm going to have to go out there in the coming weeks just to do a quick inspection out there and make sure everything's fine. I'll film them out there, and we'll add that into the end of this video. I'm just waiting for my beekeeper mentor, Merv, Julianne's dad. He's on his way and he'll help me get these all boxed up. Again, Julianne with her allergic reaction is not going to be participating in getting these hives all secure. She'll be at a safe distance and supervising from back there, which is just the way we like it. So what we need to do is take this feeding tray out. I have featured this in another video as well. So this is basically a sugar syrup reservoir that the bees feed out, but we need to get that out for transport. And we'll just see how they're going underneath.
They're going well.
Yeah.
There you got it.
I'll let you get out of the way before I tap these guys to get them off. So we've got a few little bees here, just on the bottom. We'll give that a bit of a tap. As you can see, bees are always industrious. They realise that this wasn't attached, so they've put some wax down there to try and attach it on. This just shows you where the bees come up. So they come up through that hole there. This sits on top, which protects them from actually falling into the syrup. But they come up, they climb down this wall, they drink, and then they can go back down into the hive. It's a really clever design, and that has given that hive a real boost. And this is the second stage. This is where we've actually put the beehives out for their little holiday. These guys have been out here for about 3 weeks now, and we moved them out at night time, as you saw earlier in the video. We've got a really lovely spot here. They've had some shade in the heat. They've got a nice water supply just to the back of them. And as you can see, there's a bit of activity on all the hives. They look like they're doing really well. And Merv and I, and Merv's just behind me here having a little bit of a look. But we're going to suit up now and open them all up and have a little bit of an inspection. Merv's just picked up one of them. It's really heavy, so it looks like they're doing pretty well. We'll just have a look to see if any of them need an extra box, just to give them that room to expand if they're starting to look a bit full. And these guys are probably going to be here another week or so, and then we'll have the spot set up at home. But yeah, all looking pretty good so far. So Merv's just had a bit of a look here. As you can see, there's a lot of activity. There's lots of pollen coming in. This box right here is very heavy. Looks like we might need to put a third one on that one. And yeah, they're doing really well. A couple of big ones down the back as well, very heavy, which has been absolutely fantastic. Mix it brood and honey on that one.
Yeah, you see where the brown empty ones are. They've already hatched. Yeah.
Nice tight pattern too. So Merv's just put a second box on top of that one. We haven't got a queen excluder. We're going to let that become a brood box. So the queen will be able to get up into that box once they start to fit it out. We've put traditional wax-based comb in the centre. We find that they tend to like that a lot better, and they build and fit it out a lot quicker than the plastic. And then we've got some plastic ones on the outside. The little hive next door is doing really well. Not much honey in it, but the colony is quite vibrant as we start to make our way down. So this was one of the original hives that we got at the very beginning of our journey. We had one messy hive and one straight hive. This was the straight one, and yeah, they're doing pretty well. Seeing lots of what Merv's looking for is just to make sure there's activity from the queen. So he's looking for grubs, he's looking for eggs, just the overall health of the colony. Are they looking like they need some more room? Do we need to put another box on? Are we seeing any queen cells? Is there any signs of disease? What's the pattern of the brood cells? That frame he's got at the moment has got dark brown sealed cells. That's brood or grubs. So we're looking to make sure they're not all over the place. A nice tight pattern indicates a good strong queen. So these are the things you're looking for in a solid colony.
That one's pretty full of brood on that side.
We've just cracked the lid on the Wedderburn hive, and the number of bees in this one is just amazing. These guys are doing really well. That's a lot of bees. There you go, guys. Thanks for coming here and having a look at our latest bee escapade. I've got a little worker bee flying around my head. Please don't bite me. Really happy with how this process is going. As you saw at the start, we had to box them up, get them out to here, give them a little holiday here. They're doing really well. They've got a good water supply. They've obviously got access to some pollen. They're actually thriving in this place, which is really good. I'm happy that they've had shade. Probably going to stay here for another week or two, and that'll give them a chance, and then we'll come out one night to box them up and take them back into their new location at Sweeney's Creek Farm. Very exciting. We've added 2 second boxes, and we've actually added a 3rd box onto this one here. So they're obviously surviving quite well. There's not a lot of excess honey, but speaking to other experienced beekeepers, they're actually struggling with their honey flow this year, and even last year wasn't great as well. So the conditions at the moment have been a little bit ordinary. We've had a very wet, cold spring. It's just been really slow for that nectar flow that we need to really get that honey flowing. So our aim, look, if we can get 3 or 4 kilos of honey for ourselves this season, I'll be really happy. And then end up with a series of really strong colonies. Look forward to a much better honey harvest in the future. Sometimes you just got to put the hard yards in to get the rewards at the end. So thanks for being here, guys. Hope you really enjoyed the video. Part 3 will be coming when we move these guys back onto the property, and we'll document that one as well. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to the channel. And thanks for being here and supporting Sweeney's Creek Farm. Bye for now, and we'll see you on the next one.